Welcome to Break Free to Brilliance podcast, empowering women in business through thought-provoking interviews and insights. Embrace your authentic power, explore the impact of your story, and discover how writing your best-selling book can amplify your message, authority, and the 3 I's: impact, influence, and income. Let each episode guide you towards brilliance in minutes. This is your host, Seema Giri. Welcome back to another episode of Break Free to Brilliance podcast. This is your friend Seema, your podcast host, and I'm so excited to be here with you on the very first episode of the year. Happy New Year, everyone. And I wish that this year may be your best one ever. I just love the New Year's energy, don't you? It it's such a fresh feeling. Everything is exciting and new. Everyone is happy and you feel like you have endless possibilities, and you do. So today we're going to be talking about thriving in 2024. I would like to talk about what are those subtle things to look for that if you implemented them along with your goal planning and goal setting, it can make a world of difference. There are so many amazing methods of goal setting. Everyone has a different approach, but I believe that regardless of what approach you use, you should have only 3 to 5 maximum major goals. As women, we tend to think that the more we have, the more we can get done, the more check-offs we can have, the better it is. And I used to be really guilty of that. I used to think, okay, the more goals I set and the more that I meet, that I'm going to be considered an amazing person. I'm going to be considered a Wonder Woman. People are going to be looking at me like, wow, Seema, how did you do that? And those things would really excite me and inspire me to do more. But you know what? More is not always great. The more goals you have, the more work you're going to have, and the more stress you're going to put on yourself. And bigger and more doesn't always mean better. And I think you know that. But it's sometimes hard to implement it and really incorporate that into our lives. But now that I'm older and wiser, wisdom is a wonderful thing. I've realized that less is more. And it's just not a saying. It actually means more. The less you have, the more time you're going to have to implement it. Remember, the number of goals that you set for yourself, you're going to need to have the time to implement that. And that was one factor that I didn't really consider. The other thing I didn't consider much was that you need the time to think. You need that space for creativity to flow and for you to think through things and really create meaningful content and meaningful work. And that means, servicing your clients in a more meaningful way. So now I'm all about create those kind of goals that is totally aligned with you, totally aligned with what you want to achieve this year. And so you can do some deeper quality work versus quantity work. So let's get right into it. The first thing that I always like to start with are reflections. When you use a GPS or any kind of GPS system, whether it's Waze or Google or Apple Maps or anything on Android, you always need to put in what your current location is so that it can give you the best route to where you want to go, to your destination. If you've noticed, if you try to get the directions, unless you put your current location, you just can't do it. So reflections is a similar way of understanding what have you accomplished, what have you done, what are you excited about, what were your challenges, and where do you stand as of now in your overall journey. So let's start with the first question. And I like to do this towards end of December. I do it over a month-long period. I start in December, like the 3rd and 4th week. I really ponder on those things. And then the first and second week of January, I review everything and tune into what do I really feel about it and with what I have accomplished and what I have created last year, where do I want to go? Do I still feel the same? Do I want to change the direction a little bit? What do I really want? And I tune into that. So let's start with reflections. And the first question that I ask is, what went well? Start with the amazingness. Start with the positive ones. What went well? You want to take a moment and bask in your success. Why not? You deserve it. Whether you landed a really big client, whether you launched a new product, or whether you're just honing in on an important skill that you need to develop for yourself. What were your wins? And if you're having trouble identifying all of them, these are the things that we always capture or share either in a Facebook post or through messages to our loved ones, the key people in our lives that we share the good, bad, and the ugly with, the excitement, the first person that you would call or tell someone about what you have accomplished. Also, you want to look at the photos in your phone because we always love to capture these amazing moments. So if you try to think through your mind, through your memory, you may not remember as much as when you go through your phones and look at all those moments that you've captured or the messages that you've sent out in social media. Those are great ways to jog your memory. Second question is, what am I the most proud of? Why not be proud of yourself and your accomplishments? They could be different from what went well. It might be similar, might be same. But what are you most proud of? Did you step out of your comfort zone? Did you try something that you never had done before? Were you afraid of something and you did it anyway? You're all business owners, entrepreneurs, specializing in your unique gifts. And you know that speaking is one of the best ways to grow your business. So perhaps you decided to take on a stage, whether it's a virtual stage or whether it's a real life stage or whether you're doing lives. You had stepped into that unknown and that uncertainty and did it. And that's a huge accomplishment. So you want to look at what are you the most proud of? What are the things that you did that that has really propelled you forward, and now you feel like if you could do that, you could do anything. I remember a couple of years ago, we went to Tony Robbins' Unleashed the Power from Within program, and it was the night to do the fire walking. Oh my gosh, I was so scared. I was like, I don't know how this is going to happen, and I had to really psych myself up to do it. And then as I was doing it, I was still scared, but I don't really remember the exact feeling of when I was doing it, but I do remember when I finished. I got to the other side, and I looked back and I was like, wow, I can't believe I did that. Right? So you want to look at what are the things that are the most proud of. I'm so proud of that moment. I almost chickened out. I almost backed off, but then I said, no, I'm going to do this. And then after I did it, I felt, wow, if I can do this, and this was like my biggest fear, walking on ashes, right? Walking on those hot coals. If I can do this, I can do anything. And that year, my sales skills really improved because I used to be afraid to pick up the phone and talk to people about my services or ask for people to join my programs after I've talked to them. And my business really grew that year. So these are the things that you want to look at. What are you the most proud of? Now that we have this done, now I want you to look at what has been your top 3 challenges. And perhaps 3 challenges that really surprised you. Did you not expect it to happen? Did you not forecast it or foresee it? Or were you surprised at how you handled it? Sometimes we're so afraid that if some catastrophe happens or some crisis happens, we're not going to be able to manage through and handle it. Maybe you gave yourself the grace and you were able to handle a lot much better than you had ever expected to. So Life always has its twists and turns that we cannot always assess that is going to happen. But how did you handle that? And what new perspective or what new skill did you get from those challenges? These are important things to identify because this is your growth. These are the learnings for you that you want to capture and see how you can implement it in the next year. It's always good. I find that we're always looking at what are the things that went wrong versus what are the things that went right. When you document these things, then you can see what your way of being was, what your mindset was, what did you think at that time, what were you feeling at that time, what were your emotions, and then you can really harness on that energy and capture it and implement it for future. And now, this is what makes me excited. This is what makes me really work day and night without feeling like it's work. So this is what I think is one of the most important areas that I feel that not everyone um, looks into. So now let's talk about 2024. I've created my Thrive framework that I've been using last couple of years. And I want to share that with you too, to see, if you can make slight changes in your current goal setting methodology and really help you achieve those goals this year. So Thrive actually is an acronym. So the first letter is T. T is for tune into your energy. Really get to understand what is your natural way of being, what is your natural energy. Explore and understand that so then you know what kind of a person you are, in what conditions do you work the best, what are the best times of the day for you. You want to identify what fuels your passion and what inspires you versus having to try to motivate yourself every single day to get the task done. There's always going to be tasks that we don't like, but when we understand what is the best way that we work, some of those tasks can become a lot easier to do because you're coming from a different perspective. Especially those that needs to be done that you cannot delegate. So you want to learn techniques that helps you raise your energy vibrations throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month. So then you can really harness on your natural energy, your natural way of being. So R is for relevant goal setting. You want to make sure that your goals are really relevant for who you are today. We are always evolving and changing. Our ideas, our beliefs change, our way of our perspectives change. So you want to make sure that is all aligned with who you are today, with where your business is today, with where your life and what your journey is today, and align it accordingly. Sometimes we keep setting the same similar type of goals, whether or not it aligns with us as of today or not. And perhaps those are the goals that you are not able to achieve. I used to set the recurring goals every single year for some of the goals recurring every single year. And I noticed that some of those goals I was not getting done. Also, set goals that you're really 100% committed to. I spent a year being coached last year with my coach, and he kept telling me, it took me a while to understand this, but he kept telling me, Seema, you don't get what you want, you get what you are committed to. Right? Being committed is the next level of being all in, and you will do whatever it takes. I think the best way to explain, the best way for me to feel commitment is with my children. I would go to any extent, any length of whatever it takes, no matter what it takes, to make sure that they are provided for, to make sure they get what they need, and to be there for them. So that's the level of commitment that you need to your goals. So are you setting goals that you're 100% aligned with, 100% committed to? Look at the goals from last year, the goals that you achieved, and the goals that you didn't achieve. Was your commitment level different? I would guarantee you 100% definitely. You want to make sure that it is relevant to you today, you're totally committed to it, and that they are the SMART goals. They're smart, they're specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, and they're realistic, and that they can be done within a certain time period. You also want to break down every goal to small manageable pieces down to the daily tasks. And if some of your goals still feel really big, that means you probably need to drill it down even further into smaller pieces. And now that brings us to I. And I is to instill commitment. We talked a little bit about this earlier with R for setting a relevant goal setting. Along with this, along with the commitment, you want to also identify what can be your potential obstacles, what could be your potential roadblockers, and you can create strategies for them now. So then, when those things occur, you know what your go-to strategy is, and then it'll continue to your commitment level will continue throughout that as well. And you want to really foster a mindset of perseverance and dedication to what you want to accomplish. And now we come to V. V is to really value consistency. You want to really understand the power of consistency in achieving your long-term success. You want to establish habits and routines that support your goals. You want to make sure that you are setting yourself up for success by making sure you are showing up on a regular basis. What could be some possible places that you could that you have an opportunity to become more consistent? How about marketing activities? I know this is a tough one for a lot of people. You want to make sure that you are marketing consistently. You have a schedule for that. You have a process and systems in place for that. Maybe this is one task that you can delegate and schedule things and automate things ahead of time, so then those things are happening on a regular basis. What has worked well for me is setting different days for different tasks. You're the owner of your business, you're the CEO of your business, and we really need to imbibe that and see our business from that perspective. So you want to make, on Monday, you are the CEO, you're planning things, looking at where you are, what are the numbers, and what do you need to do. Tuesday could be you're the head of operations. You're making sure your systems are in place, your onboarding and client interaction systems are in place, and you're integrating it with your sales and marketing activities, and make sure that your operations is running smoothly. Wednesday, you could be the marketing head, the marketing, the chief marketing officer, your CMO, where you are just working on marketing stuff. If you try to do everything every single day, you probably won't get as much done as if you dedicate one day to one major activity in your business. When I started doing that, I was getting a lot more work done and showing up more consistently because I had dedicated that kind of time every single day. And every week it'd be the same thing. Every week. So identify what work you're going to do on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, etc., and then keep that momentum going. It really builds on that, and your clients and your prospects are also going to see yourself with that consistency. And then that brings me to E, which is empowered execution. You want to make sure that all of the steps that you put in before are being executed on a regular basis. You want to make sure you're turning your ideas into reality with confidence and efficiency. When you have these things in place, your business is going to be running like a well-oiled machine, and you'll see that you'll be achieving your targets, your goals in a more seamless way. So let's recap. First, so the acronym is THRIVE. This is my THRIVE framework to making sure your goals are being met in 2024. So T is for tune into your energy, understand what is your way of operations. How do you as a human being operate? What is your natural energy level? What fuels you? What inspires you? And then what is the best way for you to raise your energy vibrations and the times that you feel low? R is for relevant goal setting. Make sure it's relevant to who you are today, it's relevant to your business. We're not just taking in last year's of what we didn't accomplish and adding it this year. Really look into why the goals you set in last year did not work, and will it work this year? Do you even need to have those goals? It's okay to change them up. You don't have to have the same ones. Make sure you have, 3 to 5 maximum major goals, because every goal is going to have their own subtask. And unless you have a team, you want to make sure that you're able to handle all of that work. Make sure there's enough time to do quality work for each area of the goals that you have set. I is to instill commitment. Make sure that you're 100% committed. What does commitment look like to you? And make sure that you create strategies around any kind of obstacles or blockers that can get in your way. Know that ahead of time, so when it happens, you have a strategy to overcome that, and you stay committed. You create a mindset of perseverance. V is for value consistency. Make sure that you're consistent in your CEO role, in your CMO role, in your operations role, in your role as a coach, if you're a coach, or whatever your main business area is. You are that main person. So make sure you value consistency, and then you take your empowered execution. E is for empowered execution, where you're getting your work done and with confidence and efficiency. So you've planned the work, now it's time to work the plan. So I hope this has given you some insights in what you can look at. The subtle things that may make a huge difference in your goal setting. And I heard this from Mel Robbins, and she has this one section where she says, what are you going to start now? Is there something new that you want to start? What are you going to start today? Are there things that you've been putting off for several years or several months, but that is going to take you to the next level? Maybe you're not doing it because of fear. Maybe you're not doing it because you feel you have lack of resources. Probably guessing you have everything that you need. We always have everything that we need. We just need to take that action. So what are you going to start now? For me, I'm going to start letting go of perfection and getting things out faster. I've been holding back. I've been revising and working on things. I'm trying to make it as perfect as possible. And then I lose out on time. So I'm going to be on time, maybe even before, and just get things out and not overthink on things. So I would love to hear what you are going to start next, and let me know in the comments what is your favorite method of setting up your New Year's goals, and I will see you next time. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Break Free to Brilliance podcast, and I hope you had some key takeaways that you can implement right away. Be sure to subscribe to Break Free to Brilliance wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also follow